are the great wing shooting destinations of the world, steeped in tradition, offering the pinnacle of shotgun sport. Tour the planet with us.
Hi, I'm Chris Batha. Welcome to the freshly harvested peanut fields of western Paraguay, which offers, without a doubt, the finest high-volume pigeon shooting anywhere in the world.
To the uninitiated, the fact that the South American country of Paraguay is fast becoming known as the home of the world's best pigeon shooting might be equal to calling a five-star restaurant home to the best liver and onions dinner. But that would just show a lack of experience on your part. Around the civilized bird shooting world, decoyed pigeon shooting is revered as one of the sportiest sorts of wing shooting going. And once you've tried it, you'll likely be hooked yourself. In the Gran Chaco region of Paraguay, from mid-April through July, the local Mennonite farmers harvest their peanuts, sorghum, and sunflower crops in miles of agricultural fields. Remember, below the equator, these months are fall, moving into winter. Feed is the main attraction for the pigeons as well as the doves, and birds move into the freshly harvested fields by the tens of thousands. It's a mind-opening hunting opportunity for any serious, worldly wing shooter.
In 40 years of pigeon shooting, all I've ever heard about is the volume shooting here in Paraguay. And the opportunity, the invitation by Carl Calandra to come down here and sample it in the Gran Chaco region, irresistible. I can't describe how big a country it is, and the pigeons have a lot of options. And so sometimes it's pass shooting, other times taking you unaware. You'll get 10, 15 birds arriving in a jinking flux into your pattern, and that really is a challenge to the shooter, both a decoy shooter and a pass shooter. The Paraguayan pigeon offer the sporting shooter every shot and every combination of shooting. I don't know if you can see this one.
The country of Paraguay is still being discovered by American sportsmen and tourists, so the travel to this emerging tourism market is just the first of many adventures that await. Chris is met by brothers Hans and Manfred Enns. The Enns brothers are in the business of networking shooters with thousands of doves, and business is very, very good. From the airport, it's a trip to Philadelphia. That's Philadelphia with an F for those of you keeping notes. It's the largest community in the area. Your home away from home is the Hotel Florida. It's the next morning that your Paraguay pigeon adventure begins.
It's fall in Paraguay, and they warn you to bring warm clothing. But we've got the moon setting, the sun rising, and it's an absolutely stunning day. You'd think you were in a beautiful English summer. The birds are already flying. It's only 5:30 in the morning. I'm looking forward to an absolutely fantastic day. Even if I don't get too much shooting a day like this, you're just glad to be alive. That's my first bird of the day, and I have to say, a pretty good shot to start the day with. I hope it continues. Hang on, he's coming. Wait, let's just get four in. There's about 50 coming from the left. They've bypassed the pattern altogether. I don't know if they'll... Yeah, one's come around. He's swooping in, coming in. I'm going to turn around and shoot him. I think I'm going to have to give him the second barrel just to make sure. You know, the secret to good shooting is Russian ruins rhythm. just like a golf swing. If you rush it, you're going to ruin your rhythm, and that's what I'm doing here. There's so many birds, I'm getting so excited, I'm rushing. I've got to slow it down, take my time, and then I'll get a clean kill. Remember that, 3 hours to good shooting. Rushing ruins rhythm.
Decoyed pigeon shooting is a waning secret in the wing shooting world. No sport this challenging, this exciting, and this much fun could be kept quiet for very long.
It's the pigeon capital of the world. If you want to shoot high volume pigeon, Paraguay's the place to come.
And as the circle of pigeon shooting aficionados grows, so does the popularity of South America's jewel, Paraguay, as a wing shooting destination.
Here we are.
Chris Batha is gunning with Gran Chaco Safaris in the small town of Philadelphia. Gran Chaco Safaris specializes in pigeon, high volume pigeon.
We are in the Gran Chaco region in the center of the Chaco, and the word Chaco used to mean in the Indian language a place of hunting, and which we do, and the Chaco is used to be the place for the most Paraguayan where they go for hunting.
And farmers say that every year they think that they're seeing more and more pigeons because there's more and more farming going on every year, and I think the bird population is increasing.
Come on.
In Paraguay, there are enough birds and enough space in the blinds for 2 hunters to enjoy the shoots together. That's the draw for Gar Beckstead, who has brought his son Don with him to experience South American wing shooting action for themselves.
Pigeons. Pigeon control in Paraguay is one of the great things to do in the world. And being here with my son Donald is very, very special. This is my 3rd trip with Manfred and Hans, and I missed last year, but because it was impossible for me to get here. But it's all about pigeons.
I missed him. Look at that. He's going home.
Yeah. You know, occasionally this morning when we were in here, there were so many birds that occasionally, to make myself feel good, it's an interesting thing. You know, you're killing these birds, and of course you feel badly about the killing process. Mm-hmm. You know, we all have great fun in the sport, but the killing process is killing. And so every once in a while, one of these loafers like that will come into the thing, and I'll put my gun on them. I've got them dead to rights. I never pull the trigger. I just let them fly off. Mm-hmm. And it kind of makes my heart go pitter-patter to save one of their lives, you know. So I say, go and have a great day. Yeah. He probably goes over to Chris Batha's blind and he whacks him on the way by.
I'm completely of that mindset. I mean, if I take a valid, good shot and I gave my best at it, and he dodged it or I missed, yeah, he earned the right to live, and I won't shoot again at him. You know, I'm kind of. It's very simple to me: family, experience, and learning about each other, because so many people, I feel, don't take the time to learn about each other. And what better venue than being in a different country away from all the stresses of you know, your job and your everyday life, you know, to get to know your father, really, you know, to get to know a person like your father, you know, the other people who are here, and we can all relax and be ourselves, and you know, have great conversation and good times. And get down, I see him coming in.
All right, right in front. Okay, take him. Take him. Great shot. Yeah, that was way out there. Great shot. Super. 3.5 years ago, I took him to Africa, and I typically do 4 or 5 hunting trips a year. And after I took him to Africa with me, it was such a special thing to hunt with my son that I don't book a hunt that my son is not booked with me.
It wasn't my first hunting experience with my father, but it was kind of my first hunting experience with him in my adult life, you know, where we could kind of converse as two men, you know, men talking to men. And while we were there, he suffered a heart attack, which kind of, you know, put a short end to the trip. And so that, you know, that trip to me was, you know, I learned a lot about my father. I learned a lot about myself, and that really is the highlight of these hunting trips for me. Is you know, just the great company and the great experience. It really is.
Look at that.
I can't believe
He's
that.
picked it up. Look, Donald.
He's just playing around with it.
No, he's picked it up and dropped it. Yeah, he's going to the other one.
Look, he's coming close. Look.
Yeah. Look at over here.
Look. Look at him try to pick. Oh my God. That actually probably was the highlight of my trip, is to shoot in the same blind as my father.
The whole of Paraguay is slightly smaller than the state of California, but within those tight confines for a country, there are many dramatic contrasts. The greatest of these is from east to west. Areas to the east of the Paraguay River are lush and green and home to the country's growing urban centers. To the west of the river lies the hot, dry Gran Chaco, also known as Green Hell.
Arriving in Asuncion, it's about 4.5 hours drive to the Gran Chaco region, Philadelphia. But the way that we travelled was on a charter plane, which took about 1.5 hours, and I have to say that was a delight. You know, getting up there and flying, 8 to 10 of us in the plane, it was just wonderful. And for the cost of the gas of the car, we chartered the plane. And the topography of the countryside and seeing Paraguay, you know, the panorama out before us, that was just like, you know, special, like seasoning to the trip.
It's here in the Chaco that you find the less than 10% of all Paraguayan land that is considered farmable. But it's that combination of agriculture surrounded by brushy wasteland that makes the Chaco a magnet for pigeons, doves, and savvy hunters who relish the chance to try their skills.
Our host for this shoot are Hans and Manfred Enns. They're obviously from the Gran Chaco and the Mennonite region. They're businessmen, but for many years they've been putting on shoots, pigeon shoots, in this region. And I got to say they're the most gracious of hosts. And the amazing thing is the number of languages they speak, and they have guests from all over the world. So with Italian, Spanish, German, and very fluent English, you know, you cannot get better people to introduce you to Paraguayan pigeon.
Me and Hans, when we started to operate by ourselves, our most important thing was to get repeat groups, so we could know what people were expecting. We wanted to know how people like to shoot, what they wanted to shoot, and what food people like, all that kind of stuff. And normally we please them once we know what they want and what they like.
One of my best and oldest friends, Carl Calandra, he has been inviting me for years to come down and, you know, talking it up. And we came down, and I have to say that it's a long journey, but Delta looked after us real well, and sharing the journey with friends, it wasn't a tough trip. What can I say? Shooting with good friends and good company, it's living up to everything he told me to do.
This is a real job, a real work experience for these people, whereas in Argentina or Uruguay, you have people who are doing it on the side, and it's not really something that's going to make them a living. These people are really serious about making this an occupation, and they build beautiful blinds. They make sure that you're completely covered and surrounded by the hide, as they say in England. They make sure that it's cut off to the proper length at the top for you not as an individual, so that you can stand up and be able to shoot. And then they go back into the woods. They're dressed in camouflage. They make sure that they're out of the picture entirely until you call them, and then they run out and they take the birds and make sure that they're not belly up, and they spread their wings out into the wind just like they would be if they had landed naturally. And that's what makes it a good shooting experience. And then the outfitter has scouts out constantly trying to find out where the birds are now, because they've had a terrific peanut harvest this year. And so there are many harvested fields, and there are a lot of opportunities for these birds to go, this field or that field. And so you really need to know where they are. So they're out at night. They're out after we're back having dinner. They're out in the morning before we even get there, finding out where these birds are, and so that we're going to have a good experience. And that's what makes it worthwhile coming here.
This kind of location is perfect for father and son trips.
I'm gonna knock them down, cuz.
Youth and confidence is the best thing in the sporting world. Oh!
Tony Haynes and his son Cody are from Talladega, Alabama, and know all about fast from the racetrack in their backyard. But these pigeons give them a whole new appreciation for deceptive speed.
The birds are just everywhere. They're flying nonstop. They're coming in from the left, from the right. You really gotta calm down and pick your shots, because if you don't, you'll just be shooting at everything.
Good shot.
Coming down here with my son Cody, you know, is just something we've never done, to come this long way to shoot this type of shooting. And sure, we bonded a lot in the last 4 days that, you know, that you wouldn't do at home. I mean, it's just having fun shooting and just spending quality time with your son. I mean, and him with his dad. So, I mean, yeah, we've had a great time.
Pair of doubles, baby. We don't play any games. We don't play any games in this place. It's a nice experience to travel with my daddy. We've always been friends, so we get along real good. So me and him's just like buddies, and I've always talked to my dad like we was buddies, and you know, just us being in the blind together, taking a trip, doing this for the first time. This is the first time he's been out of the country, and the first time I've been out of the country. So I mean, it's like being with my best friend here on the trip.
The Gran Chaco region of Paraguay is known for blistering hot temperatures, sparsely inhabited scrubland, and massive populations of pigeons and doves. This is an area around the town of Philadelphia that is home to thousands of German-speaking Mennonite farmers, people who have devoted decades of hard work to survive and even thrive in these extreme conditions.
It's a region, a Mennonite region, and they literally hacked it out of nothing. They came here and they've turned it into one of the most fertile valleys, or fertile plains, should I say, in Paraguay.
The Mennonites came here because they were a group of refugees who had trouble immigrating into Canada. Canada in 1930 refused to take a group of immigrants collectively, and Germany also wouldn't hold them on coming out of the Soviet Union. So the people had to look for alternatives, and it was Paraguay who received any and all immigrants that were willing to come, especially the ones that would settle in the Chaco. Even though the climatic conditions in summer can be quite severe, temperatures climbing up to 45 degrees Celsius and even above that, yet the Chaco does have its attractions.
Very early starts in the morning here in Paraguay. Breakfast at 5 and we're on the road at 5:30. About 40 minutes to the field. unbelievable to watch the sun rising. Bird boys have been here in the dark and they've created the most fantastic blinds. I have to give credit to them as the finest bird boys I've shot with in South America. They are just so good. When you arrive, the patterns are built, they've got the pigeon magnets out there, the decoys are set, and into the hide you go. And then as dawn breaks and the pigeons start coming from the roofs to feed, incredible experience. I can't load quick enough. This is unbelievable action. This is probably the best shooting experience. Oh, great. I'm pumped. This is just the best. I can't describe to you how fast and furious the action is. This is like a wing shooter's dream. Talk about wing shooting the world. You want to wing shoot Paraguay. The bird boys, while we were having a soft drink after the shooting, collected all the birds up and laid them out for us. We got together for a group photograph, and when you see 600 to 1,000 birds laid out there, and the bird boys are with you and all of your friends and fellow shots, I mean, you know, it brings it home. It's a unique experience. I have to say that really put it in perspective, seeing that number of birds laid out in front of me.
At the end of the day, around a banquet table featuring a true Paraguayan feast, it's the perfect time for family and friends and stories of great shots, and the ones that got away. There's no doubt the secret is out on Paraguay, and it's quickly moving to the top of the must-do list for avid shotgunners. Another wonderful whistle stop on the Wingshooting the World Tour.
I have to say that you know, you hear about it. Good friends of mine invited me, Carl Calandra and Gar Beckstead, and they've talked it up for several years, and this is the first opportunity to come here, and I have to turn around and say, absolutely unbelievable. I mean, the volume, the quality of the whole operation, I mean, just, and the weather, and the setting, just superb. Words fail you, you know, I often sort of wax lyrical about the shoots we go on, but this is just 5-star, a la carte, the best.